When did you realize this silver spoon was not healthy for you, and how did you remove yourself from that?
There were many times where I was like shaken down by the cops and I had drugs on me and they let me go with a warning. And I was like, had alcohol in my breath. Like, just something where like if my skin was a different color, I would have been in jail that night.
Can I just keep it to 100 with you?
Yeah.
For a white man to say that out loud is freeing. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't know if I've ever heard so much humility in a statement.
I was still taking a lot of advantage of my privilege without realizing it.
Oh, the door you just opened, being able to say, hey, I know I had privilege and I don't, I've had privilege here, and this is the way I was able to do this because I had my family did this, and this was unhealthy. Like, I personally haven't really experienced that on a level like this.
Hey, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, pray, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, yeah.
It's a new week at Jess Ask the Podcast, the safe space where transparency meets transformation. It's your girl, Jessica S. Smith, and I'm super excited about today. And I don't do my days without my girl, Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree. See, she's overly excited. Look, just fix it.
I know.
I see it.
This is my two.
That's your two. Bring it
go.
back. It's okay.
Hey, y'all. Listen, I don't care nothing about it. We here. We in this thing. Stuff happens. Life be life. And then guess
She
what?
just got out of teaching mode. She's
keep on
teaching
going.
somebody how to use the setup for BGTV Studios. If you haven't already, go over there and subscribe to our family because we have over 50 podcasts with this network alone. Well, I say over. It's not at 50. It's over 50 podcasts. So we're super excited. She's been teaching, so that's why she acting like she don't know what she's doing right now. And it's okay.
We here though.
We are here.
Hi, Jessica.
How are you?
I am great.
Are you great? Are you excited?
I'm excited. I mean, by now, y'all done already seen.
But they might not have a name for it.
Okay.
They might not have a name for it, and it's okay. So let's just get back to our scheduled program because the Lord is going to forgive you.
How you doing, sister?
I am actually, I'm really happy.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
really happy. I started this morning with a big headache. But now it's shifted. Okay. So I feel like myself, and I'm glad because we have a new family member today.
We have a new family member
and
today.
we are introducing him to our people.
Yes.
Because I was introduced to the man of God from TikTok. I was just, you randomly, the For You page, you randomly scroll. And sometimes if you scroll on that local page, you really get some good content. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was the local page or the For You page, but it came up on my page. And I started listening. I started listening to the story. I started listening to not only the story, but seeing what he was doing. This man is not just a business owner. He's a community builder. And I love a good community builder. I'm excited to get to know him today. You might know him as Uncle G. That's Uncle G's Pizza out of Birmingham, Alabama. But he was born as George Gilliam. Can y'all give it up for our new friend? Woo! Welcome,
Thank you so much
George.
For having me. This is awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy. Listen, when I saw you on TikTok, I was moved. Like I'm kind of like addicted to your content.
What was the first video?
So the first video I saw was of you telling your story. You had different clips and you started explaining some of the things that I want to dig into today. You're not originally from Birmingham.
Correct.
Right. And so what brought you here was I felt like I connected to that because I love a testimony of a transition and being open and honest about it, because what we believe here is Revelation 12:11, where we overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, he gets it. He gets it. And then I started binge watching, and you've been delivering pizzas. Just
kind of started doing that.
Like, okay, so
fun.
let's bring the people back, just because that's the case we taking them too fast. Because I'm excited. If you can't tell, I'm excited. And so, George, I did just mention that you were the owner, the founder of Uncle G's Pizza. How did we get Uncle G's?
Oh man, so it's hard because there's so much, and I don't know like where to start.
Let's start with COVID. We'll start with the COVID portion of it, because then I want to take it back to how we even got to Birmingham.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So COVID, I was like didn't really have a career going. I was like in school, but I was not super passionate about what I thought I wanted to do, which was social work. I wanted to be a counselor and like maybe work at like a rehab or something. I was also thinking about like working with like children that have autism, because I just love children with autism that are on the spectrum. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but
no,
like,
it's not weird.
I'm so delighted by like, I don't know. But anyway, so I won't go down all that, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was doing third-party delivery, like Instacart and a lot of door dashing. During COVID, side note, that was very lucrative. There was a lot of money to be made if you were like just out there running groceries, which I was doing. And it was fun, but what that did for me was it gave me a sample of what it felt like to work for myself. And I think I got addicted to that. I was like, I can't go back to working for somebody else.
Right.
Like, this is just great. Like I'm my own boss, my own hours. Don't have to be anywhere at any certain time. I just got hooked on that. And I started making pizza. Like I'd always been somewhat of a home cook.
Yeah.
Like helped my mom, at home. Lots of good memories growing up cooking, but not like professionally. Like still don't really consider myself a chef per se.
Yeah.
But I have always loved food, and I've always loved making food and serving food for others. Gives me a lot of joy. So when I started making pizza, I was kind of just like trying to do like a life hack. Like I was trying to just like learn how to make good pizza at home, so I didn't have to, spend
that
so
money
much
out
money.
of it.
Like, 'cause I love pizza. And during COVID, we were eating a lot of it. So I was like, I should try to figure out how to make this. And I started messing around with it, and I just fell in love with pizza, like from a different standpoint, I guess. Like learning how to make it, getting into the craft. I got super obsessed with like the weeds, the nitty gritty, all the little details, the science, the chemistry that goes behind fermenting dough properly, and like all the steps. And I found that there is like making bread is like a thousands and like millennia long tradition. And essentially what we're doing with pizza is we're just making bread. Like we're making bread to serve like sauce and toppings on. And it's a community. It's like it is community. Like the food itself is community. So it's like it's meant to be shared. So I just kind of like started trying to harness that power of the power of pizza. And I just started, giving it out to neighbors. I was making so much of it. Like my wife was so sick of pizza already.
So you were addicted, like real bad.
I was like waking up at 8 a.m., checking my dough, and like eating pizza by 10 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Like for breakfast.
That's another level of addiction.
I'm serious. So like I got really obsessed with it, and I spent a lot of time on the internet, like in old message boards, like people like pizza making forums and stuff. And there's so much good wisdom about how to make bread, basically. But this tradition of making bread is like, I found myself trying to like figure out this craft and really start to try to learn how to use it and respect it. And it just felt really great to be part of something that was so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
Because you really just have to give yourself up to it in order to learn it. And it takes a long time to master it.
I think you're saying something really important that I don't want to skip over because Desiree, I don't know if you're hearing the same thing, the same pattern. Every other sentence is I wasn't just addiction. I was passionate about it. I zoned in on it. I learned the craft. I focused on one thing, and I focused and I did it well, and I learned wisdom from other places. Because even when you were talking, I'm a visual person, and I'm visualizing you making this bread, right? So I don't know about it, so you can call me out on my ignorance, but I'm visualizing, like, is it called kneading? Kneading the dough.
Mixing and
Like, that's a whole process, and you focus in on that process and build up on that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, can see so much out there that they can do, especially like being multifaceted, but they don't look at the one thing. And what I'm hearing you say is, I focused on one thing and I grew from there.
Yes. 100%. It's totally a matter of focus, focus is really hard, especially for those of us that have ADHD and other, things wrong up here. But I ultimately, like, there's a craft to everything, I think. And you can learn that craft and go really deep into it, whatever it is. But ultimately it comes down to, like, how are you choosing to spend your time, and how are you focusing your energy, I think. And for me, like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, so this might be kind of a theme, but coming back to the present moment has always been the key for me. Because to me, like, God only exists in the present moment. And when I'm worrying about the future, or I'm, like, stuck on something in the past, I'm not truly experiencing God. Like, there is no God in that. It's just my ego sending me thoughts.
Wow.
So coming back to the present, like, having something to do, to focus on, really helps you, like, tune your ability to do that, and helps you, like, practice just being in the present, because you just have to be like, what is the next step? What is the next step? And what am I focusing on right now? So I think that, like, treating the eternal moment as sacred is, like, ultimately where all the magic happens, I think.
No, I can feel you on that, and I'm with you. Like, it seems like you're very visual, you're very, like, in tune with yourself. But if it's okay to say this, it doesn't, based on what you said on your platform, you haven't always been that way, like, been able to focus in on the present, being able to focus, period, possibly.
Oh my goodness.
Can you take us back to old George? Like, where are you originally from again?
Virginia.
Yes. Okay.
Charlottesville, Virginia.
And so what does Virginia George look like?
Bro. Okay. How like explicit can I get on this? So if I'm talking about like DRUGS.
Okay, just tell us.
Just what? Just
say it.
Just use the words. Okay.
Yeah.
So because I just want to be sensitive about, like, families and kids and stuff. But I was a drug addict. So, like, I started out life super normal. I was born with a lot of privilege and silver spoon type of thing. Like, I was blessed in a lot of ways, but, like, was very blind to it and didn't really understand how. And I was extremely focused on proving myself to, like, my parents or to others or whatever. And I was very wrapped up in ego as a result of that. And, like, fear, I think, is what accompanies that.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of, like, just a lot of fear. And I I was just clinging to the wrong things. Like I was focusing on things in the physical realm.
Yeah.
And I was brought to my knees by drugs. I started out just, like drinking in high school, and then moved on to like harder things because I was looking for something. I was trying to fill a hole in my soul.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to fill that hole with anything in the spirit, in the physical realm.
Yeah.
So the drugs eventually just stopped working. I'm a very obsessive type of person, like very addictive personality. And so when I get into something with the pizza, I get really deep into it.
Yeah.
And I push it like as far as it can go. And I was doing that with all of the drugs.
Yeah.
And so by the end, like when I was like fully just brought down to my knees, I was smoking crack.
Okay.
I was cooking my own crack in my apartment. Learned how to do it on YouTube, read it, and I was also on heroin.
Wow.
So
at the same time, like in the same moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, and eventually those stopped working too. And that was like when I knew that something was like really, really, really wrong because I had nothing else. Like when the drugs stopped working, you don't have any coping skills.
So when you say stop working, because I haven't done that. Yeah. I know people that have experienced that, but when you say stop working, can you give us like a understanding of what it means for an addict to say this is not working anymore?
Yes. So it's basically like my tolerance to those drugs grew and grew and grew, and it got to the point where it's like, we're talking about coffee. If you drink like 2 cups of coffee every day, eventually you're going to kind of normalize to that. You're going to adjust, and that's just going to feel normal. And if you wanted to keep pushing it, you could add a 3rd cup of coffee, but eventually you would kind of adjust to that too. And same with the 4th cup or the 5th cup. And as a drug addict, you are only being driven by your compulsions, and you have no ability to choose whether or not you're going to do the 4th or the 5th cup of coffee. You have to physically be separated from it in order to start recovering, which is like the rehab and, the detox process. But as an addict, you keep pushing your tolerance up and up and up. And eventually, like, the way I got on crack was from doing coke, but the coke, putting it up my nose, like it just stopped working that way. So the next stronger way to do it is crack. And so that's what I was doing. And then eventually that also stopped having any effect on me because I just pushed it to the max. So that's scary when like those drugs don't do anything to your brain. I was like, okay, I don't even know what I'm going to do now because my only solution is no longer a solution. And so I was my rock bottom, and I don't love that term because it can always go lower. But my rock bottom that I experienced in July 2017 was I was at the country club that my family belonged to. My dad's 75th birthday. My dad is a huge party, like maybe 200 people. It's like a wedding size party.
Yeah.
And my dad is like, pillar of the community, like lots of like,
because y'all got money. Y'all got
he
status.
was like, bank board and stuff like that. So like he, I was smoking crack in the basement of the country club. And I had been up for like 3 days. I hadn't slept. I was just coming off a bender. And before that, I knew that I looked pretty bad because of not sleeping. So I was pale and I had dark circles under my eyes, super skinny, just looked horrible, and like kind of splotchy skin, just looked really unhealthy. And I went to CVS and I bought random makeup, whatever I could find, and started like trying to cover up, make myself look a little better.
Did the color at least match?
I have no idea. I think I looked probably like a clown. I think I looked insane. It was probably horrible. And I was going around talking to like my dad's important friends about like aliens and stuff. Like it was, everybody knew that something was wrong with me. It was like, it was a colossal embarrassment to my family. Like, it was just a rock bottom moment. And so my family sent me to treatment shortly after that. And again, like so much privilege, like just many people don't have the resources to get the treatment that I got. And so like, I acknowledge that, and that bothers me a little bit, but I'm working through that. I have a lot of gratitude to my family for not giving up on me, because this was actually the second treatment, my second time.
Okay.
So I was like on a relapse, and like I had already been a problem.
So how long had it been since your first treatment in that moment?
About a year.
Okay.
About a year. So I'd gotten sober for the first time, 2015, stayed sober for about 9 months, and then maybe 6 months. So maybe like a year and a quarter, year and a half. It was, the relapses get worse every time because it's a progressive disease.
Yeah.
So like if I were to go back now, like I would be way worse off than I was in 2017, like almost immediately, like within a couple weeks.
Right.
Probably.
Because it's almost like, would you consider like you binged the drugs? Like, is it something like that?
And like your nervous system never really resets unless you like allow it to. And that's a whole different process, I think. But like, your body remembers like what it was like to be in that state, and it brings your tolerance back up pretty shortly.
Interesting.
Like it doesn't take that long to get back to the rock bottom. It's like shorter and shorter every time. So, I had that experience, and I'm so grateful that I had the experience of the relapse, because it allowed me to understand that when I start, I can't stop. And that's just something about me that is like different. And when people talk about like Alcoholics Anonymous and like the first step is admitting that you have a problem, it's that, because if I don't consider myself an alcoholic or a drug addict, then I am going to think that I can maybe have a beer and like be okay.
Yeah.
And I just know that about myself, that my brain is a little different. And when I start drinking beer, like I'm going to be smoking crack by sunrise. Probably.
Like it is no gap. And I think that you're talking real good, Uncle G. Uncle G over here talking real good. Okay. No, like I hope the audience is catching this, because it's like you had to make the correlation of saying, hey, if I do this, I'm already there. It's no gradual for me. Once I drink the beer, the crack is coming.
Yes.
Like the other drugs, I am going to try to get as high as I can so that I can numb or ignore this space.
Yes.
This is so good. So now we're at the rehab. Is the rehab where you came to Birmingham?
Alabama, yeah, Warrior,
Alabama.
Warrior.
Okay.
Yeah. This place called Bradford Health Services up there. And I don't know what it's like now. These treatment places have a tendency to change pretty rapidly because the staff comes and goes. But when I was there in 2017, the team of people that were taking care of me were amazing. Like I owe them my life for sure. And a lot of them were the same ones that were looking after me in 2015. And in 2015, I was there, also had been using heroin, but lied to my treatment team the entire time, told them I wasn't really doing heroin because they were talking to my parents, because my parents were paying for the treatment. And I didn't want my parents to know that I was doing heroin. So when I got to the second treatment, I wanted to keep that same lie up, because I still didn't want to like get real on that level with my parents. Like I thought that I was just afraid. I don't know.
Did you think they were going to abandon you?
Yeah, maybe. Or just think of me in like a different light. Like I felt like I had to present a certain version of myself to them that they wanted to see. And I had been doing that my entire life. And like, I think internally I was just very tired of trying to do that. And because it wasn't real.
Yeah. Is that what led you to the drugs in the first place?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's definitely a factor for sure. But yeah, I mean, I had to have that experience of like having the relapse and then like experiencing not being able to stop. Because I hope that I'll never forget that, you know, because it enables me to work an AA first step every day when I wake up and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm still me, I'm still here in this body, like nothing's changed. And if I have a beer, then it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's so much discipline.
Yeah, I think so. And I didn't intend for it to be discipline, but I think part of like maturing and growing up and just realizing who you are in life is realizing when you don't have to give energy to something. Because I spent a long time in my life thinking that I had to just kind of frantically give my energy to everything that popped up.
Yeah.
And learning when to like step back and like if you're a musician, learning when not to play. Like that's
so good. Woo! Uncle G, you know what to say, Uncle G. Jesus, that's good. Knowing when not to play is a powerful thing because we got some talented musicians.
Yeah, and people want to be heard and people want to play and people want to talk. But
that's so good. So take me to the moment. Like I want to visualize and be there with you to the moment where you made the decision. If I go back, then I go back to this.
Yeah, this was the moment where like I think my spiritual journey started. I was sitting in treatment in like a lecture with like maybe 50 people, and this guy was giving us a lecture on like emotion or something, and something that he kept saying like, you have to be honest, like you've got to get honest, you have to be honest. Nothing can truly start until you're really honest.
Yeah.
And it just kept rattling around in my head, and I'm like, I'm just doing the same thing I did last time, you know? And if I can't like expect anything really to change, if I don't make some sort of like change here. And so I got up out of the lecture. I walked up to my counselor's office. He was like in a separate part of the building. I walked over there and I knocked on his door and I said, I'm ready to tell my parents that I was doing heroin. And mind you, I'm a 27-year-old man at this point. Like, and at this point I have a very like, unhealthy relationship with my parents. Like I'm too tied to them for at that age, I think. Because it was, you know, we were just, in that kind of relationship. And, that moment when I told them, it was like a moment of like self-actualization, I think, where I really took ownership of myself and my past and the things that I did and the decisions I made. And I was like, yeah, I was doing it. And like, this is who I am. And immediate freedom, like immediate weight off of my shoulders. Like that was my big secret. You know what I mean? And to be free of the big secret, you know, your big secret.
Yeah.
Because most people have one.
Yeah.
To finally let that go is something that I hope everybody can experience, because everything immediately changed for me. And, you know, it still requires effort daily, but I think I started to get out of myself and truly start to experience like the beauty and like all of the imperfection in life.
Desiree, I am about to go. I'm about to go run 3 laps. I don't know if I want to cry. I don't know if I want to run. I don't want to speak in tongues. I don't know what I want to do. George,
I'm afraid I'm going like way too deep.
No. This is the safe space for a reason.
Good.
And the reason, what I'm about to share with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So what you just said is so real. The first thing that came up to mind was my freedom talk with my dad. Right, I was raised by my father. You know, my sister Kendall. Kendall tried it, and we were raised in the same household. And so, my dad is military, right? But we didn't have a silver spoon, so we had to adjust different. Like, it was just certain things we had to do and a standard we had to meet because there was no wiggle room. Preacher's kid. I mean, all that type of stuff.
A lot of expectations.
A lot of expectations on a budget. On a budget, okay? And so I'm this grown woman, and I'm doing life, and I'm in this world where I want to be married. I want to date, and then boom, life happens to where not once but twice I experienced adultery, right? I experienced what it is like to be the other woman, the additional bonus to a man's life that is out of the will of God, right? And so I'm this preacher's kid. I'm a minister. I know how to speak in tongues, and I know how to pray and help people through their stuff, but I'm losing my mind. I am literally losing my mind. And so I remember taking my dad to eat on Father's Day. I had a little money, you know what I'm saying? We went to Paris, you know what I'm saying? A little Perry on 280, you know? And so I'm sitting here and just involved in this conversation with my dad. It's just a one-on-one. And I feel led to tell him that I experienced this situation twice. And that
was scary.
Oh, when I tell you, it was interesting because I had just told some other leaders of mine, but not willingly. It came out. And so.
And that's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same being caught.
Right.
Being caught and being forthcoming about something, two different experiences.
Completely different on like a cellular level. There's something different happening.
It's very, because you have power.
Yes.
Like ownership.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm sitting here telling my dad this, right? I was like, hey, I have something to talk to you about. I don't know how you digest it, but I just feel led to tell you. And so I tell him, I have not told this story out loud, but I tell him, and he looks at me. Woo! He looks at me. He says, you're better than that. You're beautiful. You're smart. He was trying to figure out if I knew who I was. You get what I'm saying? And not to say I didn't think my daddy thought those things, but because he was the only parent, he only had space to focus on provision.
Yeah.
Because you're the sole parent of 2 girls. It's like I'm trying to, discipline. If I use some fear tactics, y'all won't get into it.
You just got to keep it together.
Just got to keep it together. Yeah. So the identity portion was something that I missed a little growing up, but it's being. In that moment, he went to that place. And then afterwards, we're sitting in the car and just talking, and he's getting vulnerable with me. I'm being vulnerable. Yes. It was just such a beautiful moment. And but even with that, I still had shame of how everybody else would feel about it. And so last year in July, right? That's when I had my freedom. That's my freedom date. Whereas I was speaking to some other women, and the Lord led me to share that testimony. And I cried afterwards, and the women was like, hey, you are not the only one that has experienced this. Yeah. You're still this. You're still that. And I just broke free from it. And scripture supported me in being free from that. And so I want to tell you that your story, or you sharing that portion, is no deepness to it, because there's details that people need to hear, not even just from you, like as an addict standpoint, but I want to get back into like the viewership of your parents, because there are parents that are dealing with this right now, and they don't know how to navigate through their child being addicted to drugs. So what encouragement, how would you tell them to encourage them to like keep not lose hope on their children?
Yeah. It is probably the hardest thing. I don't say that based off experience. I have 2 kids, but they're very young, and I hope they don't go through the same struggles that I did, but I know that there's a pretty good chance that at least one of them will. And I think that the answer is typically like go to some form of like Al-Anon, or like there are groups that are like Al-Anon based, that are, it's sort of like the AA program, but it's for family members. And it teaches you basically how to lovingly disconnect, and how ultimately, really, somebody that's experiencing addiction, the best thing that you can do for them is not enable them. But we lose sight of what that looks like.
Okay.
And we start to enable, as parents, we start to enable our addict children in ways that we don't necessarily see as enabling. We think we're trying to get them on the right path. We're trying to provide them with shelter, or like get them off the street or whatever. And we think we're doing something loving, but really all we're doing is prolonging their suffering, because they have to arrive at that place on their own and be brought down to their knees on their own for real. And if you're always kind of there just to kind of catch them, then it's just pushing that timeline down further. And like we said, it's like a progressive disease. So you really want to get it early, like cancer, kind of. Like, if you get it early, like, then maybe it won't spread, kind of thing. So the best thing is to really let go and allow them to just have their journey. And it's terrifying because, especially right now with like fentanyl and like just the stuff that's out there, like it's literally Russian roulette. Like you don't know what you're putting in your body. And so there's a lot of danger, but I would make the argument that it's even more dangerous to prolong their suffering. You know, I think that leads to more heartache down the road.
That's so good. I think you're helping so many people right now, because I'm learning a lot right now. I want to go back to something you just said, that the Holy Spirit will not let you just say that, and not respond to it. So let me ask you a question first. You just mentioned that you hope your children don't get into it, but there's a good chance that they will. Is that because you have had other addicts in the bloodline?
Yes. Yeah, it's absolutely, I believe it's a genetic, there's like a very hardcore genetic component to it, because my mom was an alcoholic, and she got sober like right after I was born. And she, like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of mental illness in my family on both sides, but my experience has been that all the like real addicts that I know, not just people that like problematically drink or whatever, but like a real addicts like me, really just always have someone related to them that's also an addict. So I really do believe that it's just passed on genetically. And, you know, me and my wife, we talk about it. We hope that it's not in their future, but, you know, we just.
So let me ask you this too. So has your wife experienced?
No, she's not an addict.
Okay.
She, you know, she's got her own journey and her own like demons, like everyone else.
Right.
And she's done some amazing things, and she's come back from a lot of things too. And I don't want to tell her story for her, but she hasn't experienced the drug addiction in the way that I have. Okay. So she's learned a lot.
So this is why I'm asking this, because I'm really big on like bloodline generation, breaking generational patterns.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it starts with, for one, noticing the pattern. Like you would say, I'm gonna admit admit this. So not only did you notice the pattern, but you cut yourself off from the pattern. And what happens is when we cut ourselves off from the pattern, the legacy that we leave is a powerful one versus a submitted one, right? Maybe what if your mom was able to cut off the pattern and share with you, you know, some things and be vocalized. I think right now, the reason why we feel like certain things will be passed down is because, for one, we don't talk about them, right? We're not honest. We're not transparent, forthcoming about things. So I wish my parents, would have talked to me and told me married men still seek after single women. I wish we would have had that conversation. I wish I would have known that my family wasn't a picture perfect family, whether they called the name of the Lord or not, that they was cheating and they was outsiding and this is not how you do it. I'm thinking that I'm just easing myself in and I'm a disgrace to my family, not knowing that they have been practicing these things. So now I'm at a disadvantage. Right. But now, because I know, I'm going to make sure my children are not at a disadvantage. You have a choice with that. Yeah. Right. And I'm passionate about that, because what I believe is that evil would have you believe, the enemy would have you believe that it's not possible for your bloodline to be delivered from a pattern. Yeah. It is, because now that what do you do with your awareness? What do you do? What are you submitting to, right? And you submitted to positivity. Like, your life has changed, George. Yeah. You don't want to go back, nor will you go back. And that means that because you are the head of your household, you get to make a decision. My family won't get to experience this. My family don't have to experience this, because I get the choice to be forthcoming with my kids about X, Y, and Z. I want you to know that you have a decision not to drink just as much as you have a decision to drink. Right. I want you to know that just because I experienced this, I don't want you to experience this, and this is why. You're going to go much further than me, because not only do they have a responsibility to manage your name well, but to you have a business that you're going to leave this business to your children. And so just giving them that idea and that vulnerability, I believe, works against the pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. No, and I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I think all things truly are possible. Yeah. And yeah, like, why limit ourselves? Yeah. In physical realm thinking, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the vulnerability thing is key. Yeah. Because I don't know, that story about you and your dad like really resonated with me, because when you said that he started getting vulnerable after you shared your vulnerability, that happens almost every time. You know what I mean? And that connection where like two people are being truly vulnerable together, like, that is intimacy, So like,
come on, George.
I didn't know what intimacy was before in life, just like at age 27, like I figured it out. Yeah. I'd never really had that experience, or if I did, it was very fleeting. Yeah. But yeah, the vulnerability is where all the magic starts. I think
is where it is the crossroad.
Yes.
To change.
Yeah.
Either you go with the vulnerability and move forward, or the vulnerability can invite shame. So that's why it's so important for us at the point of where we are to be vulnerable at the right space at the right time, and even having the people to manage us well. Like Desiree back there, when I had experienced that, she was literally one of the first people, or the first person I just willingly told. I didn't feel the pressure. I didn't feel
like I have to maintain something.
Yeah. I felt safe.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing I think that you have displayed without even realizing it is that you're safe enough to approach. You're safe enough to have those conversations with. I think that's also probably why you desire to be like a counselor or whatever, and also with your connection with autism and autistic children. Like, it's because they think differently, they have a different need, and you just have the ability to nurture that need. I think also, like, I don't know if you look at it as like a gift yet, but there's a safety that's needed for someone that is a community builder. You are a community builder. I can't just say, oh, you're the owner of Uncle G's Pizza. No, that's a tool for you to build the community. And so I don't know if you've considered that, but I think that you're safe enough, and you're gonna get people after this airs to be like, oh, I want to go to support because I know he's gonna help the addict.
Yeah.
He's gonna help the person that lacks. Let me get back to one thing, and because this has been so good, George. It's
been a really, really good conversation.
Oh my
really
God. I am
this.
enjoying you. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but my goodness. Earlier you talked about, several times you brought up having the silver spoon, right? Mm-hmm. And can I just keep it to 100 with you?
Yeah.
For a white man to say that out loud is freeing. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. I don't know if I've ever heard so much humility in a statement. Like, and I think
You make me blush.
No. I'm being transparent. I want to call a thing because there is so much even in the area we are in Birmingham, Alabama. There's a history of civil rights acts, even what we're going through with the voting and all that stuff like that. I'm not very political, but I try to pay as much attention. You don't understand how the door you just opened, being able to say, hey, I know I had privilege, and I've had privilege here, and this is the way I was able to do this because I had my family did this, and this was unhealthy. Like, I personally haven't really experienced that on a level like this for you to say that. When did you realize this silver spoon was not healthy for you, and how did you remove yourself from that?
Well, I think I realized it really early on because my parents would tell us, like, hey, like, other kids from other like public schools, they might, like, when you tell them what school you're from, they might kind of like look at you a little differently.
Okay. And
they tried to kind of explain that, probably age 9, 10, something like that. And because I was starting to do, stuff like rec basketball out in the community or whatever. And that immediately made me feel very self-conscious because I was like, oh, like, I kind of just want to like connect with people, and now there's like this thing that I have to be aware of and worry about because my parents told me about it, and like it's a thing, and I kind of like tested it out, and I was like, oh, like that is real. Like that's a thing. I'm like being looked at differently, and I was just really self-conscious of it, I think, but that wasn't the key though, because for me, like, I was still taking a lot of advantage of my privilege without realizing it. And I think what that takes is like really honestly, like looking at the world around you and seeing like what's going on and how people are being treated for real. And just taking an honest look inside, I think. And it's just seeing like there were many times where I was like shaken down by the cops and I had drugs on me and they let me go with a warning. And I was like, had alcohol in my breath, like, just something where like if my skin was a different color, I would have been in jail that night. And just really honestly like coming to terms with that. And there was a period of time, I think, in between too, where like I was aware of the privilege, but I was still using it to my advantage because I was in the middle of addiction and it was like survival, I think. And when I say using it to my advantage, I think all I really mean by that is like I wasn't doing anything about it. I was just kind of like going with it.
Yeah.
And there's a big problem with white men right now. Like, I'm afraid to kind of even say that because it like immediately becomes this politically charged, like people like take it as this political statement. And I think the first thing I'll say is that I just really don't like how divided everybody is right now politically. I think that the elite want us divided, and they want us fighting against each other, and they want us at odds because it takes the visibility off of what they're doing. And, I think that if all of us came together, all the red and blue, and we came together, we could make really, really positive change. But it takes getting over that ego where, it's like self-preservation constantly. And like in America, it's like this rugged individualism, like is like built into our DNA kind of, but it's not great for the soul. Like it's great for building a life where I can be isolated from everyone and get delivery McDonald's to my door and not have to like interact with anyone. Yeah. And I can sit on my phone, and like it's great for getting shopping like delivered to me, and like I don't have to interact with anyone for anything. And I think that's the direction that a lot of people are moving right now, and don't realize it, because I was definitely one of those people, and I just read the news and I bought into everything that society was doling out, without kind of unplugging and realizing like what's actually going on. And what I think is actually going on is just like a big spiritual like sickness that a lot of people have. And that sickness like wants to make the wedge that divides us bigger and divide us even further away and put bigger locks on our doors and all that. Buy guns, protect ourselves, keep us, not just keep us isolated.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think it comes down to a choice just between fear and love. And every moment you have the ability to go either direction. And I think like this comedian Bill Hicks back in the 80s, he said it best. He said, the eyes of fear want us to put bigger locks on our doors, buy guns, isolate ourselves. And the eyes of love want us to see us all as one, all connected. We're all humans. We're all imperfect. And we can do great things when we come together. But as long as we're divided, like our power is extremely limited. And I hope that there's a big wave of like change coming. I think a lot of people are ready for it, like are just tired of how things have been.
Yeah.
And it feels like things are changing, but those of us that feel convicted and feel strongly that we can do positive things as a human race, I think we will ascend in some form or another. And I just want to get more people on the bus,
Yeah, I love that. That was powerful. Thank you so much for being willing to like talk about that. Because I know that, at the end of the day, you still got to go home, and we make statements that we don't know as a podcaster. I have experienced some things where people are like, why did you say that? I was like, because I said it. Like, it's what I said, and it's okay that I said it. And I think I am overly excited to support you in multiple different ways, because you are, George, you are that guy. You are definitely that guy. Desiree, I know we've been talking about, listen, it feel like I can keep going in this conversation like real bad. I want to hear your thoughts, sis.
No, this has been a very, I want to say, kind of encouraging conversation. Like, one, I just love your story and your testimony. You know what I'm saying? One, because you recognize that you're living in the grace that was given to you, right? We all have a past. We've all done things that, that we're not proud of, and and things like that. But the truth is, as a believer, as a son, God has granted us grace, and that grace looks like, okay, let me share my testimony. Let me let the people know like what God has brought me through and what we're still walking out. And even the moment where you begin to share about privilege, right? I think right now we're in such a heightened atmosphere that it's almost that people are almost afraid to even just share, right? And so what I believe is happening right now, it's really just a mirror on reflection of where our heart is as a people as well as a country. And so I think I get a little sad because you can't tell me that you're a Christian and you love God and not love his people. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that you follow the God of the Bible and you don't love his people. All his people. All. And so to me, that's the saddening part where we are, because that's not God. And I think God uses everything. So I really believe this shaking, everything that's happening now, I think is necessary for people to be able to take a step back and really evaluate their heart posture. Yes, you may have learned some things as a child. Your parents may have taught you some things, and this is on all sides, right? Because even us, even as a black person, like there are certain things that we're taught for protection and things like that. But at the end of the day, we still have a choice. We do. To still choose the love of the Lord. Yeah. And I think when we can get to that point where we can see people as humans, humanity as humanity, and begin to fully walk in the love of God, we'll begin to see generations change. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm really excited about that because I do believe spiritually there's been some shifting and shaking that's been happening, and we're just seeing the natural manifestation of that thing. But God is still God. And so I still believe in God, and I still believe in Jesus, and I still believe that he uses all things. And so I'm just grateful to have you here today to be able to shed another layer of conversation. Because this is what this is. This is just, hey, let's have this. We can have this open, honest, vulnerable conversation about this thing, right? There's no, your opinion is right, my opinion is right. It's let's just have a conversation about what's happening, and let's see if we can move the needle past. So I'm like you, Jessica says, I don't think this is going to be the last time. No, I don't. You have an open door policy. We don't. Let's make this very clear. We don't do this with everybody. We don't do that because sometimes it's a one-hit wonder. Okay. But Uncle G, I would like to extend the invitation, the open invitation that Jess Ask is a home for you, to where we support you, business to business, brother to sister. Like I pray that you experience what we're experiencing from you is just a bridge, right, to where we can cross over and ask questions and be open-minded with the communication. And so as a traditional Jess Ask, we allow our guests to have the final word, right? I would love if they didn't hear anything that you said. What's the one thing that you want to leave them with? I would say, and this isn't the no, that's not the thing. Because I don't want to use my thing. No, it's good. No, I think the final thing is that, fear versus love. I think if people could just think about that and put a little bit of thought into it and see, and just look at their own lives and see like where they've made decisions based off of fear and where they've made decisions based off of love. I can make decisions based off of fear all day long out of, trying to protect myself or whatever.
but making decisions based on love is, that's where all the good connection happens, I think. So.
Yeah, that's so good. Listen, we support Uncle G's over here, okay? So
we didn't even talk about pizza.
No, because pizza started the conversation.
We touched on.
Pizza's just a tool.
Pizza definitely is the tool, okay? Pizza got us to see you, all right? Yeah. I can't wait. I have a confession. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to go try it.
I should have brought you some.
I'm going to go try it, okay?
I don't know why I didn't show up with pizza. That was so rude.
Just Ask gonna have to come over there, man. So Just Ask gonna come there. But you guys, we want to hear from you. Okay, there was a lot said. There was a lot said in this conversation. I also would like for you to go follow Uncle G's. I don't care where you are in the United States of America. I want you to go follow Uncle G's. Let him know that this community supports him, and also give him some feedback. What was it a part of his story that just resonated with you the most? And also, let's let him know that we're praying for him. We're pushing him in prayer. Okay, we about to come in agreement with praying for George. All right, and so I love you guys. Until next week. Until next time. Remember, life could be much more simple if you just ask.
What's up, you guys? We hope you enjoyed that episode. If it resonated with you, make sure you like it. Now, if you thought about somebody as you were listening and you think they could benefit from it, go ahead and share it with them. Sharing is caring, right? And we're here every Thursday. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the notifications when a new episode drops. So until next week, guys, peace.